Hey everyone, CV Tech here. Today, I'm doing my video on the 5-day challenge on the Sharp Aquos Crystal. I know it's a little bit later than I wanted it to be. This is Sunday going into Monday, and I'm just now doing this video here. But I want to give you my thoughts after using the Sharp Aquos Crystal after all these days. I'm gonna give you some of the specs on the phone, the battery, give you some, show you some battery tests that I did perform on the phone, all that good stuff. Tell you what I like about it, what could be improved, and just all around, what I think of the Aquos Crystal. So let's go ahead and get into it. And so yeah. Okay, so here I am with the Aquos Crystal, and I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna give you the specs of the phone. Kind of just go over some things with you about the phone and everything before I get into what I think of it and all that good stuff. So, this phone runs Android 4.4.2. Now, I was really surprised that this phone never received at least 5.0, but it never did. It's stuck on 4.4, and that's it. So, if it ain't gonna get it by now, probably won't get it. This phone does have a 5-inch display at 720 by 1280 resolution at 294 pixels per inch. It does have a 78.4% screen to body ratio. This phone does have an 8 megapixel camera on the rear with LED flash, records on full 1080, 30 frames per second, and has a 1.2 megapixel camera here on the front. Now, this phone runs a 1.2 gigahertz quad-core Snapdragon 400 processor with 1.5 gigabytes of RAM, 8 gigs of built-in storage, with around 4 gigs available to user, and it will support up to a 128 gigabyte micro SD card. This phone does have a 2040 milliamp hour battery that is not user replaceable, and it says estimated 13 hours of talk time. Now, this is an LTE compatible device, and it does have Bluetooth 4.0, and that's just about where this thing ends. Now, I use this phone for the challenge, and I gotta say, while this is a really good looking phone, I mean, it got the nice white back with the bezel-less display in the front, other than the slip down here for your notification light and your camera and your Aquos brand in here. Really, this phone is just kind of bland. I mean, this phone here is really all about styling. And when I say that, it's just because the way it has this really nice silver here on the bottom, and also along the sides and everything. But I mean, other really than its styling, this phone. I mean, now I will go in here to the screen, and the screen on this phone really does look good. It is 720p, not 1080, nothing like that, but it does look really good. And the phone is very smooth. Now, I've not had any issue whatsoever with any lag with this phone. I've played games with it, been on the web, Facebook, YouTube, and honestly, I've not had a bit of issue with this device lagging whatsoever. Now, one thing about this phone that I do not like, since it runs KitKat, you cannot move apps to SD. However, some phones that do run KitKat are able to move apps to SD, like the LG Volt, you're able to. The Samsung Galaxy Prevail LTE, you're able to. And a few other, the Kerasera Hydro Icon, you're also able to move apps to SD, and they all run KitKat. So some phones can, however, they did not opt in to do that here on the Aquos Crystal. So, yeah, that's one thing that could have been done, or it's updated to 5.0 and got all that stuff moving, but they didn't do that. So anyway, it's all good. Like I said, it does have a 2040 milliamp hour battery, and I did take some screenshots here, and battery life on this phone was not very impressive. Now, this was at 3% battery life, and I had 19 hours on the battery, which is not bad. 19 hours is good for a 2040 milliamp hour battery. However, it only had less than 3 hours of screen on time. 2 hours and 56 minutes is all I had on screen. Using YouTube, I was on there for an hour and 22 minutes. Um, now, and of course, right there it is again, 19 hours, 26 minutes on cell standby. Now this is a whole new set of screenshots. This one here got 14 hours and 14 minutes on this battery charge. It was made 25-minute phone call was all. 3 hours and 21 minutes screen on time. And I mean, that's just, I mean, in 2 hours and 32 minutes on YouTube. So, I mean, I gotta say, I mean, 14 hours, 25-minute phone call, and 3 hours and 20 minutes of screen on time. Battery life is not very impressive with this device. So, battery life, if you don't use it, you get around 20 hours of battery life. But if you use it like I did, pretty hard there, it actually wasn't even that hard. I mean, less than 3 hours of screen on time, that's not very good. But, it is what it is. So, and the battery can be replaced, so you got to always, it's good to have a charger with you if you plan on using it like crazy. Another thing here is this poor excuse for a speaker. Now, if you look right here, you'll see that the phone has these curves here on the sides. And the speaker is laying flat in the back. So when you put this phone down, it's laying flat on the speaker. And this speaker is very, very weak to begin with. So the speaker quality on this phone it sounds good and sounds crisp. However, it has very little volume. And the phone's laying right here, quiet, with a full blast, you can hear it ring. If you go to the next room, you probably won't even hear it. If you have it in your pocket, you can forget it. I did download Zedge. Downloaded some really loud ringtones like the Nextel ringers and very loud ringtones, and some of them did have more of a piercing sound, so you could hear it a little bit. But still, in your pocket, if you're in a store or in your car, you're going to miss a phone call unless you got a Bluetooth on. So I thought I would just mention that out there as well. Other than that, I mean, and honestly, they need an Aquos Crystal 2. They really just need to come out with a whole new refreshed Aquos, like the Aquos here, make it an Aquos 2 with a tad bit bigger screen. The camera on this thing is virtually useless. I mean, the front camera is no good at all for video or taking pictures. The rear camera is pretty good for bright outside pictures. However, indoors, even with the flash on, it just takes some really poor pictures, really poor video. So really, honestly, they just really need a whole new Aquos 2 with a better front camera, better rear camera. Um, Running at least Marshmallow, hopefully if it ever comes out. Um, so this phone here, well, it's a good phone. It looks good. It runs good. I mean, like I said, I had no problems with the phone running. Had no issues. It ran flawlessly. Had no hiccups whatsoever. The phone runs really smooth. But it's just the camera's no count. The battery's no good. You can't move apps to the SD card. The call quality is very tiny when you compare it to something like the ZT Orp Elite that has an actual ear speaker. This one does not. This one has some kind of internal vibration of the screen, which gives you your call quality, and it sounds very tiny, and it's not that great. So I usually use an earpiece or a Bluetooth whenever I make phone calls with the Aquos because it just sounded so bad. So bad call quality, bad battery life, bad camera. Really, the only thing good I can say about this phone is it's very reliable. It holds signal very well. Um, the design of it is just awesome looking. I mean, it looks really good, performs really good, but like I said, it can stand some improvement, like better camera, call quality, battery life, stuff like that. So that's just my basic thoughts of the Sharp Aquos Crystal on the challenge that I did. Now, I'm not hating the phone one bit. The phone is great. However, the rear speaker needs to be much improved. This needs to be on the front or something with this much space, because the back of it right here being flat against the bottom, um, like I said, it's just so quiet to begin with that it's virtually, you can't hear it at all unless you're in a quiet room. So, I'm not knocking the phone one bit. It just needs, it has a lot of room for improvement, and so I'm not trying to ramble on here. I'm trying to just finish off what I'm trying to say about the Aquos. As far as being a phone, I would give it a 5 out of 10, mainly because 5 being purely performance. I mean, it's just like I said, it runs very smooth. No hiccups playing games. It's just really nice. But the bad camera, the bad call quality, the bad battery life, can't move apps to SD, still stuck on KitKat. You know that kind of knocks it down by half. So overall, great phone. It really all depends on what you want, but if you're looking for those things, you might want, if you're looking for the things that I said were bad and that I didn't like too good, then you might want to look elsewhere for a phone. So anyway, that's just my thoughts and opinions. Um, I will be starting a new challenge coming up Monday, and so yeah, and I will also I'm gonna do one more challenge after this one, after the new poll coming up after the Aquos. I'm gonna do this one. I've done this one. I'm gonna do one Monday, and then the next Monday, and then I'm going to call it quits for a little while, and everything else. So stay tuned for the new poll. I will post a video on that when I get it put up, and you can go over there. I'll leave you a link on how to follow me on Google Plus. So if this helps you out any at all, leave me a comment in the section below. Give me that thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. Hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate that as well. Um, so yeah, Aquos Crystal, good phone, just has room for improvement. Y'all have a good one. See you in the next video.